Be prepared. What happened under yesterday's moon was far from ordinary. It wasn't just another full moon gracing the sky with its usual soft glow. This one arrived with a force that demanded attention. The strawberry full moon came in hotter, brighter, and more intense than most were ready for, radiating a rare kind of clarity that doesn't simply fade away when the night ends. That light didn't just illuminate the night, it carved something into the very fabric of your energy. And even though, technically, the event is over, the moon's influence hasn't left. The echo of it is still moving through you, not above in the stars, but deep within your nervous system, your emotional body, and your perception. If you found yourself feeling unusually alone in the aftermath of the full moon, if there's been a strange emotional distance or an unexplainable shift in how you relate to others, know this: it's not random. It's not in your head. This isn't a coincidence. What you're experiencing now is part of a larger energetic realignment. The full moon didn't just stir the waters, it shifted the tides entirely. Today might feel off. There might be a strangeness in the air that you can't quite put your finger on. The kind of weird that doesn't come with a clear cause, but lingers, as if something invisible is quietly transforming. If you're leaning into trust, if you're allowing alignment to unfold even when it feels unfamiliar, feel free to share your thoughts. And if you're drawn to the number 222 lately, consider it a sign. That number often shows up during moments of divine timing, of synchronicity, of energetic trust being tested and strengthened. You might also be noticing unusual cravings, sudden, specific desires for things, foods, sensations, or even people. Don't brush them off. These aren't just whims. They're signals. There's a reason your body and spirit are reaching for something oddly precise right now. Those cravings are tied to deeper needs, ones your subconscious is only now beginning to express. I'll explain more about that in a moment, so don't go anywhere. But even beyond the cravings, there's something stranger stirring, and it starts with a feeling most people wouldn't associate with growth: disconnection. Not the kind that stems from isolation, but the kind that emerges when your energy evolves faster than your environment. That sense of being out of place, emotionally out of sync, or internally distanced from the people around you. It's not because you're losing touch. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You're beginning to tune in at a level others may not yet be capable of matching. That loneliness you're feeling, it's not the absence of love. It's the absence of resonance. You're not falling behind. You're not being left out. You're ahead, vibrating beyond the echo of your past self. And what once felt like harmony in your social world may now feel strangely empty, even performative. Conversations that once flowed now feel mechanical. Time with certain people now leaves you drained instead of nourished. Activities and interests that used to spark joy might suddenly feel hollow or strangely out of tune. You're not broken. You're shifting. You're upgrading. This full moon didn't just bathe the sky in light. It delivered a quiet but powerful system upgrade. And now your entire frequency has shifted. Your nervous system is humming at a higher vibration. You are becoming more sensitive. Not emotionally fragile, but energetically precise. You're now picking up the frequencies of every room, every person, every unspoken word with greater clarity than ever before. It can feel like drifting. It can feel like you've outgrown rooms, conversations, and even parts of yourself. But here's the truth. You're not losing people. You're simply no longer compatible with the version of them that resonated with your old self. The version of you that tolerated surface-level connections, can no longer sustain them. The loneliness you're feeling? It's the final test. Can you hold your upgraded energy without shrinking to match what no longer aligns? Because something wild happens when you pass this test. You begin to perceive the world as it truly is, not as you were conditioned to see it. Your radar becomes so sharp that you don't just hear what's said, you feel what's left unsaid. A look, a pause, a forced smile, all of it becomes clear. People's micro-expressions now scream with meaning. Silence feels loaded, even loud. Things that used to slide past you now land with full emotional weight. And you might find yourself asking, why does everyone seem different lately? Why does everything feel off? But here's the twist. It's not them being different. It's you seeing differently. You're not being dramatic or overly sensitive. You're finally tuned in. The full moon didn't just mark a phase in the lunar cycle. It marked a recalibration of your inner lens. And while this heightened perception may feel like a burden at first, it's actually a superpower being awakened. You're not just reacting to the absence of connection anymore. You're recognizing it in real time. The discomfort you feel isn't rejection. It's your nervous system responding to the absence of energetic congruence. Your intuition is sharper. Your body is more aware. You're not imagining the disconnection. You're recognizing truth. And truth, when seen clearly, can be painful before it becomes liberating. But don't let it harden you. Don't let the clarity make you cold or withdrawn. This is not the time to retreat. It's the time to refine. Your emotional radar isn't breaking. It's becoming surgical. You're moving from surviving in social spaces to mastering your presence in them. And as your energy stabilizes at this new frequency, you'll begin attracting connections that match it. You haven't met most of the people you're meant to align with yet, and that's okay. They live on the new frequency. You just haven't crossed paths in the physical realm. Yet. And there's one more shift happening. It's subtle but powerful. Since the full moon, rest hasn't felt the same. Sleep isn't what it used to be. You're not just waking up early or tossing and turning. Your entire sleep state is different now. It's like something inside you no longer shuts off. Even in your most restful state, something within remains alert, watchful, scanning. It's not fear, it's awareness. Your system is self-monitoring at a new level. You're being observed by your own higher consciousness, by the upgraded version of your nervous system. Rest doesn't feel like silence anymore. It feels like surveillance. Something shifted in the dark, and that presence is still here. You're not exactly groggy, not tired in the traditional sense either. What you're feeling is more like an interruption, as though your entire system was deeply engaged in an internal process, and it had to be abruptly pulled out before completion. It's not that you didn't sleep, it's that your sleep didn't bring you back fully. There's this strange, almost ghost-like pause in the morning, a lingering sensation, as if the night did something to you instead of healing you. No matter how long you lay in rest, it feels incomplete, as if restoration never quite clicked into place. This isn't just a flaw in your rest cycle or a simple case of poor sleep hygiene. It's a deeper restructuring. Something fundamental is being rewired beneath the surface. The moon, especially the recent strawberry full moon, didn't merely light up the sky. It fractured something ancient in our inner rhythm. It disturbed a legacy of rest that once offered refuge. For countless generations, sleep has served as a reset button, a nightly shutdown where the soul could soften into unconsciousness. But now? Now it feels more like your system is remaining partially online, aware, processing, even while your body lies still. You're no longer powering down at night. It's as if a new layer of consciousness has been overlaid onto your nights, and now, even in deep rest, something remains alert. Sleep is no longer a retreat. It has become a checkpoint, something transitional rather than conclusive. And this shift is not just momentary. It's ongoing, revealing itself in subtle yet undeniable ways. When your body can't fully surrender into deep unconsciousness, other mechanisms start to activate. What used to be dreams now feel like transmissions, impressions, echoes of something else trying to break through. It's not burnout you're feeling. You weren't just exhausted, you were burned through. Let's be very clear. What you're experiencing isn't ordinary tiredness. This isn't simply about needing more downtime or a slightly longer nap. This is a complete spiritual recalibration. Your entire energetic system is running in the background, quietly rebuilding and restoring functions you didn't even know had been affected. That recent full moon wasn't just beautiful. It was energetically invasive. Imagine standing in front of a massive speaker blasting full-volume sound, except that the sound was made of light and frequency, and the speaker was aimed at your soul. You weren't just tired. You were energetically saturated. Now, what you're feeling isn't fatigue in the classic sense. It's the come-down from a deep exposure. The fog in your thoughts, the heaviness in your limbs, the slight misalignment in your sense of timing and coordination. It's all part of the recalibration. Your physical body is recovering, but so is your energetic field. Your nervous system was stretched, maybe even overloaded, and now it's slowly stitching itself back together. This is healing on levels most people don't even have language for. You might be tempted to think you need more sleep, and maybe naps come more often. But even those naps feel heavier, more immersive, as if you're not just resting but falling through something. You wake as though you've just returned from a faraway realm, because energetically, you have. This isn't a slump. This isn't laziness. This is integration. Your system is working overtime to decode and make sense of what just passed through you. If you found yourself forgetting names, spacing out mid-conversation, losing track of time, don't panic. It's not cognitive decline. It's your invisible layers, your deeper awareness, doing heavy lifting behind the scenes. The parts of you that usually remain silent are now engaged in reassembling something sacred, something that momentarily came undone during the moon's peak. Your mental clarity will come back, but not all at once. It will return in fragments, puzzle pieces slipping into place slowly, naturally. Until then, do not mistake this stillness, this slowness, for failure. It's not a sign you're broken. It's a sign you're healing. And perhaps the strangest part of all is how your body has begun to whisper its needs in unexpected ways. Not rest, not distraction, but desire. Deep, cellular cravings for flavors, textures, experiences that seem irrational at first. You might suddenly need something cold, not because you're overheated, but because it soothes something internal. You might reach for salt and citrus, or feel a pull toward burnt toast, oily crunch, or bitter herbs, not because they taste good in the usual sense, but because your system is asking for something precise, something elemental. These urges don't align with typical hunger. You're not just craving food, you're craving frequency. The body remembers what the mind cannot explain. Lately, the cravings may not be about comfort at all. Instead, you're being guided toward sensory input that repairs something intangible. Ice to cool your overheated circuits. Crunch to discharge static tension from your jaw, throat, or chest. citrus to cleanse something stale from your core. You're not seeking taste. You're answering a call. Your system is foraging for balance, asking for textures and compounds to bring itself back into alignment after a seismic, energetic shift. Some people are feeling this for the first time, wandering to the kitchen at midnight not from boredom, but as if guided by an invisible signal. Others, who rarely snack, find themselves oddly obsessed with specific sensations, specific flavors. There's intelligence in this, a wisdom. You are not falling apart. You are remembering how to listen. So be gentle with yourself. Give space for the quiet, the strange, the slow. The recovery you're in isn't one that can be hurried. It's deep, sacred, and still unfolding. You are not just healing. You are becoming something new, something more attuned, more receptive. And what you're feeling right now is exactly what transformation feels like in real time. The recent shift in lunar energy hasn't just touched the skies. It's subtly rewritten your internal settings. Your body, always listening, always aware, has begun to respond, one strange craving at a time. These impulses, these unusual yearnings, are not random, and they're certainly not something to dismiss or criticize. This isn't about willpower or diet or habit. This is your body attempting to translate energy, decoding messages through flavor, texture, and desire. It's trying to help you remember something your conscious mind may have forgotten in the blinding light of daily life. But flavor is only the first language. Beneath the cravings, beneath the sudden taste for something you haven't wanted in years, there is another kind of communication unfolding, quieter, more mysterious. It doesn't speak in hunger or movement. It speaks in memory, but not the kind you can trace. This is ancestral memory, deep soul memory, the kind that rises when something in the cosmos shifts and your spirit tries to recalibrate. It's not confusion you're feeling. It's realignment, a reorientation of your inner compass. There may be moments lately where it feels like you're supposed to be doing something, meeting someone, saying a certain sentence, turning down a street you've never noticed before. But it all stays just out of reach. The sense isn't urgent, and yet it pulls you like a tide you can't resist. There's a strange pressure under your ribs, a magnetic hum, and no matter how still you try to be, there's a current moving inside you. You pace without purpose. You open your phone only to stare. You walk into rooms and forget your reason. It's not because you're unfocused. Your mind is searching, pacing internally, trying to catch a frequency it hasn't locked into yet. And this sensation, it's not a flaw. It's not a malfunction. It's a natural effect of something greater. The moon, in its recent fullness, didn't simply illuminate the night. It disrupted the gravitational balance of your inner world. Like an anchor point within you has been shifted ever so slightly. The part of you that instinctively knows what's next. That subtle guiding sense that gently tugs you toward the right words, the right people, the right path. That sense has been untethered, momentarily free-floating as it seeks its new orientation. You're not lost. You're in between frequencies. When the energy of a powerful celestial event like this fades, it doesn't exit gently. It tugs on the unseen threads of your being, churning the ether inside and around you. For a short while, your inner compass spins, not broken, just adjusting, recalibrating. This phase may feel like uncertainty, like you're late for something invisible, like a message is trying to reach you, but the signal isn't quite clear yet. And still, none of this means you're behind. You're not missing out. You're in the transitional space between what was and what's coming. The moon didn't just stir your emotions. It restructured your inner priorities. And now, as it drifts into its next phase, your awareness remains suspended, hovering between what used to guide you and what will soon replace it. In this space of not knowing, something profound is happening. You are not empty. You are receptive. The next impulse, the next idea, the next alignment is on its way. And when it arrives, it won't crash into your life with fireworks. It will appear softly, silently. It may come in a dream, or a sentence you suddenly feel compelled to write. It may feel less like inspiration and more like inheritance, like something placed in your mind, fully formed, while you weren't paying attention. And here's where it gets truly mysterious. What arrives may not even feel like it's yours. And in a way, it isn't. This lunar phase didn't just stir emotion. It acted like a tuning fork, a transmitter. It temporarily thinned the veil between minds, between souls. In its wake, it has left people walking around with fragments of vision, seeds of ideas that didn't originate in their personal histories. This is not theft. It's not fantasy. It's energetic transference, collective intelligence, the merging of imaginative frequencies. You are not imagining things. You are receiving them. Some ideas don't come because you chased them. They come because you were ready to hold them. The moon created a moment of permeability, a porous opening between consciousnesses. And in that sacred vulnerability, certain pioneering frequencies found a way in. Frequencies meant to become books, artworks, movements, languages, and lifetimes. Not everyone was open enough to receive them, but for those who were, the wake-up call is happening now. If you find yourself suddenly and inexplicably driven to begin something that feels too big, too strange, or too early, trust it. If you feel drawn to study something that logically makes no sense but vibrationally feels electric, follow that. If you feel the need to create, to document, to initiate, do it. This is not mania. This is alignment. These ideas, these urges need a body, and you are the one they've chosen. And sometimes, inspiration doesn't knock with thoughts. Sometimes it arrives as a visitor, a presence, a sensation that lingers. Not all visitors leave. Not all insights speak. Some sit in your chest, behind your eyes, in the back of your throat, waiting for permission to emerge. Emotion might come out of nowhere, a sudden lump in your throat, tears during a simple conversation, a song that unearths a feeling you didn't know was buried. That too is part of it. The full moon opened doors not just between people, but between versions of yourself, between timelines, between inherited wisdom and current consciousness. What you're experiencing now may not have a name yet, and it may not have a reason, but that doesn't make it any less real. Let it unfold. Let it speak in its own language. You don't have to force it into form. Just hold space for it. Breathe. Stay open. You are not being haunted. You are being tuned. The old compass is still spinning, but the new alignment is coming, and when it lands, you'll know. Not because it will tell you in words, but because your body, your soul, your knowing will click into place like a star finally finding its constellation. You've heard something like this before, maybe 100 times. Words about energy, transformation, emotional shifts, but this time something lands differently. It doesn't just echo, it unlocks. Something subtle yet profound is stirring within you, not out of sadness or nostalgia, but as if your soul is gently unclenching, quietly releasing. You're not breaking down. You're not falling apart. You're simply softening, and that softening is sacred. The recent strawberry full moon didn't just light up the night sky with its luminous glow. It did more than shine. It reached in. Not forcefully, not like a storm, but with a quiet persistence. It tunneled softly through the hardened layers of your emotional landscape, weaving its way through long-forgotten corners of your inner self, places you've sealed off, memories you rationalized away, feelings you buried under the weight of logic and functionality. And now, without fanfare, those energies are surfacing, not with chaos, but with a graceful unraveling. You may find yourself leaking tears, seemingly without cause. But these aren't the tears of despair. These are the tears of permission. Your energy field is undergoing a subtle but significant cleansing, not through drama or collapse, but through moments of unexpected tenderness. You're watching a light-hearted video, and suddenly your chest tightens. You're driving, and your eyes fill without warning. You remember someone you haven't thought about in ages, not with longing or regret, but with a soft, quiet ache. It's not grief. It's not even longing. It's recognition, a gentle honoring of something once felt, now being acknowledged. This isn't weakness. This isn't depression. This is the pressure valve finally loosening after weeks, or even months, of holding in micro-emotions, small disappointments, mini heartbreaks, conversations you wished had lasted longer, goodbyes that never found their closure, moments that didn't seem big enough to cry about at the time, but still found shelter in the hidden corners of your nervous system. And now, with the moon's subtle touch, those moments are stirring. They're not exploding. They're exhaling. The moon didn't just pull the tides. It pulled your inner waters, too. And now the emotional dust is beginning to lift. As that energy moves, it can look like tears, feel like random melancholy, or arrive as a soft quietness that wraps itself around you unexpectedly. You're not grieving anyone else. You're grieving for all the versions of yourself who never had the chance to speak their truth. For the parts of you that didn't get to feel what they needed to feel when it mattered most. So if the emotions come, let them. Don't resist. Don't apologize. This isn't a breakdown. This is a sacred release, a spiritual drainage system at work. And when it finishes, however long it takes, you'll notice something remarkable. The world will feel off. Not bad, not broken, just unfamiliar. You'll wake up the next morning, step into the daylight and sense that something is different. The colors might seem muted. The sunlight will feel strange, not in its warmth, but in its tone. The world hasn't lost its beauty, but its emotional vibrancy feels recalibrated. It's not sensory overload. It's more like the emotional filter through which you once saw the world has been temporarily lifted. The textures are raw. The lighting, bare. Reality feels slightly misaligned, as if it's been peeled of its comforting blur. This is not your imagination. It's not fatigue. It's not disconnection. What you're experiencing is a reconfiguration of your perception. The strawberry moon didn't just stir your feelings. It rewrote the way your system interprets reality. Your nervous system, your sensory field, your inner lens, everything has shifted, however subtly. And as the daylight touches your newly cleared emotional field, it passes through new filters you didn't have just a few nights ago. So if the world seems flatter, more exposed, don't panic. You're not dissociating. You're not malfunctioning. You're simply seeing things without the old softness that used to shield you. The moonlight stripped away the illusions, and now you're seeing the world as it is before it fills itself with new meaning. The light around you hasn't changed, but your relationship to it has. You are witnessing the world in its unprocessed form. The emotional context hasn't been written yet, and that can feel uncomfortable, even disorienting. But it's also a profound invitation. You get to shape what comes next. You may find yourself drifting through small moments in a daze, forgetting what you were about to say, walking into a room with purpose only to stand still, blank. But it's not because you're scattered. It's because your attention is no longer locked onto autopilot. Your system is rewiring. And in that liminal space between the old and the new, presence feels different, less linear, more fluid. When you look back on this week, you may not remember every task you checked off, every chore completed, but you'll remember the feeling that lingered while doing them. You'll remember the strange silence behind your laughter, the warmth that accompanied an unexpected tear, the softness in your chest when you paused to breathe. Memory isn't vanishing, it's being rewritten. The recent aftermath of the strawberry full moon is stirring more than just emotions or fleeting energetic shifts. It's reshaping us on a neurological level. Your mind, right now, is undergoing a quiet but powerful transformation. It's not that it's discarding pieces of your memory because they lack meaning. Rather, it's releasing them because they no longer align with who you are becoming. They're relics of an outdated version of you, important once, but no longer essential. This moon didn't gently nudge your awareness. It blazed through your inner world with such clarity that it carved new emotional priorities into the very fibers of your nervous system. It didn't just light a path, it rewired the compass. And your brain, attuned to this lunar instruction, is now complying. What remains in your memory isn't a catalog of facts or mundane details. It's the essence, the emotional resonance of your experience. You may not recall exactly what you wore a few days ago, or precisely what you said during that casual conversation at lunch. But you'll remember why you reached out. You'll remember the feeling that drove your actions, the subtle but undeniable pull that urged you to connect, to speak, to act. That motivation, that emotional spark, is what remains intact. It's as if the universe has chosen to highlight your soul's intentions while letting the rest quietly blur into the background. And this isn't a mistake or a lapse in mental sharpness. This is spiritual intelligence at work. This is your higher self learning to prioritize not by routine or responsibility, but by resonance, by emotional truth. You're not meant to recall every detail in the same way anymore. The old method of mentally tracking everything for the sake of order is being dissolved. Instead, you're being invited into a deeper, more intuitive rhythm, one that favors emotional authenticity over structured logic. So, if you feel like the past few days are slipping through your fingers, as if the week is evaporating before your eyes, don't resist it. Don't cling to each moment as it fades. Allow it. Let it dissolve. Because here's the deeper truth. This week was never about the specifics of what happened. It was always about understanding the why behind it. If that still lives in you, if that emotional thread is still present, then you haven't forgotten anything that truly matters. This is not forgetting. This is refining. And if you're still here, still listening, thank you deeply for offering your attention to this moment. If this message resonated with you and you'd like to explore more content that speaks to the soul and seeks to honor the unseen layers of experience, I invite you to subscribe. Your support means more than words can say. Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. This space is for reflection, connection, and growth. Until we meet again, take care of your energy, stay true to your inner knowing, and remember, clarity comes not from remembering everything, but from remembering what matters most.